My name is Cindy Schneibel. I work for CertaPro Painters of Portland, previously known as CertaPro Painters of Gresham. We've been in business for 6 years now. I've been with the company for several years. I'm a residential sales consultant, so I meet with homeowners to discuss the importance of protecting their biggest asset, painting, interiors, exteriors. I also do a little bit of commercial as well. Today I want to talk to you about protecting your biggest asset. One of the biggest things I think is really important when repainting your home is choosing the proper high quality paint that's necessary. We can always choose to go less expensive. However, it doesn't last as long. You'll be painting more often. You'll have more paint failures, things like that. I always recommend that you choose a paint color that is lighter. I recommend a sheen that has a minimum of low luster, just so that we have the proper UV protection and the ability to wash your home once a year, which is really, really important to do as well. There are several different substrates available on homes all around the Portland metro area, Gresham as well. We have cedar, T111, stucco, hardy plank, aluminum siding, and vinyl siding. Each of these substrates needs a special paint to work with. Metal paint needs to have a metal siding needs to have a metal paint used. Vinyl siding needs to have a very specific additive put into the paint so that the siding doesn't warp once painted. Hardy board, they can use pretty much any type of paint. Acrylic latex is the biggest known paint out there to use for hardy board. A lot of the homes in the Gresham, Portland area were built before 1978. Those homes are considered lead paint based. What that means is the paint that was used before 1978 had lead paint in it. Nowadays, they're no longer doing that. They're using acrylic latex. When getting an estimate to paint your home, make sure that the estimator, the painter, is EPA certified. You must have an EPA certified person to paint the home built before 1978. There are special guidelines that you must follow in order to paint your home and prep it. Lead paint is something that people are very worried about. We ask, if we're doing the job, to please make sure there's no children or dogs or cats in the home or around the home during the day of prep. We have to put plastic out 10 feet in order to capture all of the previous lead paint chips. We can't power wash. It has to be rinsed. Those type of things that we think about when we go to a home that was built before 1978 to ensure we're following all the guidelines. Decks are also a thing that people have around their home, in the front, on the side. There's many different types of decks. You can have a cedar deck, an epi deck. You can have Trex decking, which is a composite. Decks should be maintained every 2 years. They should be power washed on a low PSI every single year. Just be very careful, because certain types of deck, like the epi decks, they're a very sensitive wood where it will fray if you spray it too hard with a power washer. So just be very careful of that. Also, I like to remind customers that they should always use an oil-based stain to restain their decks or railings. Obviously not for Trex decking, because that's a lifetime color, but absolutely use oil. We live in an environment that's very wet, so when it rains, it will pool on top of the wood rather than get down into the wood and cause dry rot. So we don't want it absorbing into the wood. We want it to pool. Another item that's around a lot of homes, around stairwells, fences, things like that, is wrought iron rails. Most of these are powder coated. It takes a special type of team to work on wrought iron rails. You actually have to literally heat the rail as you go. I recommend that you power wash your wrought iron rail once a year and just make sure there's not a lot of rust on it. Rust can spread. It will go to additional surfaces along the wrought iron rail, and we want to make sure that that doesn't happen. So definitely take care of that once a year as well. One of the newest is hardy board substrates on homes. Hardy board is a composite. It was originated in early 1990s. When it originally started being put on homes, there was no flashing behind it. So the butt joints where the two pieces come together, they have caulking in them. Nowadays, after 2012, Hardy did a revisit of how the homes had the Hardy applied to it, and there's now flashing behind it. The flashing protects the home from dry rot and whatnot, where we used to use caulking in those areas. However, if you do have the caulking between the butt joints on the Hardy, please make sure it's not failing, because once the water gets behind there from the rainy seasons, unfortunately that can cause dry rot behind the boards and even go into your home. So just be very careful and keep your eyes on things like that. I appreciate your time today. Again, I'm Cindy Schneibel with Sutter Pro Painters of Portland. Thank you.